Hello everybody, Kearon here with Explorminate, and welcome to a pretty cool little, I'm saying it's pretty cool, Let's Try series for a game I've been pretty excited about, Driftland, the Magic Revival. Now, Driftland, a little background about it. From my perspective, this was a game that was completely, I had not heard of it. It was not on my radar until Nate had mentioned it to me a few months ago, and I've been following their little YouTube preview releases and stuff. They've been teasing early access for quite a while. Now, this game did just come out in early access, and I was fortunate enough to get a key here at Explorminate from the developers. So, full disclosure, this is not a key that I purchased myself. The game is currently on sale for 18 bucks, so it's like 10% off the regular price of $20 after it X's early access from what I gather. So don't quote me on that, but at least right now they're doing one of those, hey, you buy in early, we're going to give you a bit of a discount. So what is If Driftland? It's an RTS. It is not pausable as far as you can tell, and it's very comparable in terms of aesthetic to something like Warlock 2, I would say. As you notice, this mage here is floating on this little rock island thing. Basically, the backstory, it's pretty cool. The four races and their, I guess they're not all going to be mages, there'll be warlocks or whatnot mixed in there perhaps, were at war with each other, tore the world apart. Literally think, if you're familiar with Warcraft lore, Draenor, the orcs' homeworld, like post Dark Portal, or something like what you see in Warlock 2, right? So there's literally just these floating islands, and in one last attempt, mages from each of the four races came together and cast this spell to use up all the magic to stabilize the world. So there's like the burning core below, and then these floating islands around what was the planet. So pretty cool. And that's all laid out in the introductory video, which is very well done. Nice animation and whatnot. But yeah, so that's kind of the background. You come into play where magic is again entering the world, and so you get to pick one of four races eventually. Right now, because this is early access, and then again, for disclosure, this is early access, so it is missing some of the final products. And I'll go through here in a minute kind of what to expect. So as you watch these 3 or 4 videos I do, you'll see what there is, and if you need to make that call, like, well, is this going to be enough for me to be interested or not, you can kind of make that evaluation yourself. I'm not really going to try to give this game a pre-review or anything. I think that's out of place. Again, as I always do these, this is so you can view this and say, hey, this game's for me, or hey, it's not. But what we have now, we've got humans and dark elves. Coming later, and I don't know when later is exactly, but sometime down the road, you're going to have dwarves and wild elves. So it'll be interesting to see how wild elves and dwarves are play differently than the humans and dark elves. And there was, we should probably go back real quick, just kind of the skirmish or the custom game mode. They call it single player. There will be campaigns, and this is pulled right off of their early access launch, like announcement off of Steam. They're going to have 4 intertwining campaigns, one for each race. So I guess 4. I'm not sure if they're going to work off each other or what. That's kind of neat. The 2 new races, then multiplayer, of course, is going to come, and then balancing. So from that, it makes me assume what we see here is mostly feature complete in terms of mechanics, gameplay, and things, which is cool. I'm glad this game seems to be a little bit further along its development when it's been released to early access. I know sometimes I get burned out a little early, but what we're going to do is play easy because I'm kind of a noob even after about 2 to 3 hours playing this game. And I don't want to just get steamrolled and lose. I want to show off some stuff. And we're going to play as Dark Elves because I feel like we've played humans so much. At least I have, right? You've played humans in every game throughout your life, and they're always very human-y, right? High density. We'll leave everything else the same, just normal difficulty. And let's just get in here. Enough kind of talking about the game. So that's some cool wild elf art, I'm assuming. Can't play them, but so here we are. This is Driftland. This is what the game looks like. You see what I mean with the floating island thing? Pretty cool. Now we have our little explorer here. He's going to go about doing his own bidding. We'll get to that later on. You don't actually control your units, and I kind of have some mixed feelings about that. But like I said, we'll get back to that. So let's just kind of go through what we're doing. So I'm going to hover over this island here, and you're going to see resources pop up here. So you see my home island has some crappy deposits of stone, wood, and then we don't know about the other resources. You have to explore for those. And we're actually going to have him do that right now. He goes through each of these, our explorer, and we'll check for them. Now, resources are finite. So when I say these are crappy deposits, they are. This is not going to get me anywhere. Come over here. A lot of stone, better wood. Not great. Not great. I'm actually looking. Oh, perfect. This place, because we're going to need a lot of wood to get things going. So how do you take said island? You build a bridge. Well, for starters, you do. If we can zoom out, we can kind of see the islands in our vicinity. We don't know their layout, the rest of the map. I do like this touch. The zoom in, zoom out maps. Reminds me of Age of Wonders 3, I think did something similar to this. They weren't by any means the first game or whatnot, but I like that choice of a zoom in, zoom out for a map like that. So we've connected this island. We're going to tell you to go and explore. We're going to make one more explorer. And he is currently doing his thing, exploring, well, not really exploring. He's looking for higher tier mineral deposits. So one thing we can do right off the bat, we can build a cottage. Now, why would we want to build a cottage, you might ask? And I'm not even going to worry about mining this, so let's see. Yeah, we'll build a cottage here. Sorry, I was thinking, and this shows a good gameplay thing. If you build on a resource, you're going to lose said resource. So, goodbye. Goodbye. Oh, I can't even build there? That was dumb. Oh, I didn't need to destroy those. Oh, well. I wasn't using them, but I wasted 12 gold. So just like resources are finite, also spaces. And I don't run into an issue, at least I haven't yet. You seem to branch out just a ton, but it is something to consider. Got our second guy going. He's exploring here. Good. While he's doing that, let's build a lumber mill here. Right in the heart of the island. Keep our vision up. And then we will do geology as well. Okay. So this is probably a good time to explain kind of my, I don't know, I'm on the fence about units. And we'll get to that. Let me just go for it, I guess. So you don't control units. I can't tell you go here. I can click on this island and say go explore. Or if there's baddies, I can say attack. But you can't just tell your unit to go. The idea behind this is agency, or your heroes have their agency, and you're not gonna trounce on that. You're more like the ruler. You hire these people or whatnot, whether they're knights if you're humans or assassins if you're dark elves in our case here. They go about, do their thing. Same with explorers. So to tell them to do something, it's an incentive. You're not making them do anything. You just incentivize them to do something. Cost 10 gold. And then you can add the reward by 10 gold to add the priority, which is okay, the priority system. But I seem to run into this whole gold versus food battle, and you'll see this probably by the end of this video, where you're just like, well, do I starve to death or do I go bankrupt? And it's a really hard line to run. I'm hoping later game, well, I digress. It stinks to have to pay money that is going to become very, it's worth a lot. Gold is worth a lot in this. It's not just you're not sending peasants to a gold mine or something. Like, it is a resource you cannot get outside of either gold mines or having people be citizens. If they're citizens, they're not working in a farm, a lumber mill, or whatnot, you tax them, right? So as you increase one slider, the other goes down. And so that kind of stinks. And then also, I don't know. I like control of my units. I don't really know why they chose this. And this is my biggest beef with the game, because I love the aesthetic. I like the two races. They're not super different, but like, it's fun. There's little monsters will show up, barbarian raids. We're going to see a lot of cool things. but like I don't know why you can't control units. And I don't know if it goes back to like a design choice of for the engine or whatever they did. I'm not a developer, so I'm totally just like guessing. They made some sort of design decision, you know, time, resources to get a product done. Now, from what I gather, they've been working on this for about 3 years. They talk about on their early access launch, so it's not like they're rushing this, but for whatever reason, the developers made that decision. I'm not a huge fan of that. It hasn't stopped me from enjoying the game, but it is something to be aware of, and I think is important to mention. So that's that. That's what I think of it. Let me build another cottage here while I'm blabbing, though, so that we can make sure to increase our population cap so we can keep this going. But yeah, and again, I mentioned that because that might be a make or break thing for you. Maybe you'll like that idea, that it's not really combat focused, because it isn't. So if you're one of those players that loves RTS, but maybe you're just like, man, you know, for me, I know StarCraft 2, I could never keep up multiplayer anymore, but I like the game. This is definitely a little slower pace. The thing you do have direct control over is your spells you can use to assist your guys. So like if a dragon or barbarians come, you can cast fireballs, freeze them and stuff. So you do control that, but again, it's all based off your mana reserve. So a different design choice. Very largely focused on Empire, growing your resources and stuff. Interestingly, kind of a lot like Northgard in that way. I'm not saying that one of them copied the other. Obviously, they're very different games in a lot of ways, but for both Northgard and this, you know, combat is definitely playing second fiddle to other things in the game, which might be different for some folks. I know I grew up RTS, and that's a little different for me, but it's not bad. It doesn't, you know, different isn't bad. I think we need to make sure I mention that here, because it isn't. Can we build a bridge here? Good. Build a bridge. Go explore, do your things. Food is maxed. We're still good on food. We're growing population. What do I want to do? Well, actually, I'm going to show off something pretty cool here. We talked about magic. You got your islands, your awakening, your restoration, which is basically just a heal. Hopefully they'll add more to that. Like an area heal or something, not just a unit heal. You've got plane walking, which is some cool things we'll get into, and then just your elemancy, so, you know, killing spells, basically. So let's say I'm looking here and I'm like, well, this island could be cool, but I don't know what it is, so we're going to send this magic eye over here, and we look and we say, hey, look, that's pretty cool. There's a lot of wood. We're going to need wood. So we cast Arcane Currents, and this is more or less depending on the size of the island, and we're literally going to move this mother right over here. I mean, check that out. That is pretty cool. So while I, you know, talked about unit like control and stuff, this is one of those things in the game I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is different from what I've seen, at least in an RTS. It's, you know, similar to some ways how you maybe jump around in Warlock 2, but I like that your exploration is find these islands and pull them to you. And so you just get this big conglomerate, I assume, towards the end, which is kind of neat. Okay, they're exploring, they're doing their thing. While they're actually doing that, I'm going to build a stone quarry, stonemason, excuse me, here, because stone and wood are going to be the building blocks for a lot of our buildings. Let's upgrade our castle to improve our income and our capacity and other things. And we're going to drop another fishery. We'll drop that fishery right here, though. Okay, put a couple workers in here. So our stone is coming. Where's our lumber mill? And you know, I don't even have to go here. One nice thing they thought of for us, pretty slick. You just got your sliders you can pull up here, which I like. We are starving though, because our people need food. So that's why we built that second farm. Let's pop that. So you're starting to see I'm having this conflict starting to emerge. Food versus gold. Not huge, but it's starting to widen ever so slightly. A lot of magic on this place, actually. Interesting. But I don't want to go too long without any sort of defense. So we're going to build, what is it, an assassin's garrison over here. Don't want to neglect that. get a lot of wood and stone, even though it runs us a little close on gold. We're getting lower. Now, one population cap they have built in. There doesn't seem to be a hard cap that I've run into yet, but you are limited by the islands. So again, look at the resource tab up here. As I hover over the island, 2 cottages, 1 cottage, 3 cottages. So it does limit how many you can pop down. What's on this island? Wood. Yeah, we'll wait. We got room. We can put a cottage there and it doesn't hurt anything. Because I don't want to like demolish this big tree I'm going to chop down. That would be silly. A lot of iron. Okay, that could potentially be good. And a marketplace. Lets me trade. So, honestly, what I want first is a house of scholars. And I always forget this. You're probably going to laugh because I'm probably going to forget this next episode because I probably won't get to it really until episode 2. But there's a little bit of a tech system. So you've got your path of economy, warfare, or magic. Now economy is pretty cool. Building upkeep cost reduced by 2. So something like a farm, that's gonna almost half it. Something like a lumber mill, half it. So on. Everything is 5 across the board. So that's pretty big. You've got overtime. So you've got improved production, exchange rates. And then your repairs no longer cost gold, which is not something we've hit yet, but it is pretty, it hurts until you're done. And then the others we'll go through later, but I'm honestly going for financial reform because as I keep going back to, I've really struggled economically before. I want to avoid that if at all possible. So, building this out here. Let's see. Okay. Our castle upgrade. Okay, we've got a castle 2, which we're gonna train an assassin. We're not gonna really go through units or anything right now, but we'll train our 2 for now. And we need to be a castle level 3, which we'll need to fortify, I think. Usually it makes you improve your defenses. It's kind of cool when the buildings build. I don't think I focus on this. Like, you can watch it real time. I like that. That's always a good choice for RTS in my opinion. Like, just show it. It's cool. It's a little bit more animation work, I'm sure, but hey, I'm grateful for it. What am I thinking here? I want to keep building this out, but I'm looking for not fishery. Where is it? There's a building that improves your output, and that's what I'm looking for. And I'm just not seeing. Oh, here we go. Fish pond. Okay. So we need a fishery 2 for it. Which we'll go ahead and just upgrade you now. Now, let's actually cancel that. Nope, we can't. We'll go over here. So what this does, it gives you a little more hit points, reduces fog of war a little bit, not a huge deal. But mostly what it does, 5 more workers. So I don't have to like put 9 fisheries out already. You can build tall. You don't just have to build wide. I mean, you'll be doing both, don't get me wrong, but it is nice that there's a little option there. So has this place been explored yet? I don't think it has been. Go geologify it for me, please. Por favor, little man. And then we're going to switch over here. So you see we've got some assassins. They're just trying out their weapons on this dummy here. Going to town. Nice looking assassins. And they've got names because they're heroes. They're not just like units like you might train in other real-time strategy games that you throw in masses at your enemy and stuff and they die. They're more heroes is what they're targeted as. And that's part of the focus with them. Having their own will. Heroes do cost money, as he's telling me, though. So right now, 8 per unit, which is not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. Let's get our fishery 2 here. Good. Okay, let's throw a cottage up. We can throw a cottage. That place is maxed. There. And I think it's time for us to throw another magic eye out. We need to find another island here, maybe. I'm thinking this guy. What do we got over here? Some more stone. Okay, we'll take it. We'll be able to use stone eventually, I'm sure. So pull him on over, join the family. Just bring it over. I mean, no big deal. Oh, sort of trials revealed. That's cool. So I will just mention that right now, but we'll try to remember that next video. Basically what that is, your units, your heroes, I gotta not call them units, they have an artifact. So with their skills, which again we'll cover next video, you can get artifacts. So as they discover those, they'll get cool bonuses for damage or whatnot. So kind of some neat options there. Stone. Let's put you. Have you colonized it yet? Where? You can't actually put a cottage anywhere? Well, that's dumb. Show you what I think of your thing. Nope, nothing at all. Guess we'll plop it right there. And our final thing we're going to do is we're going to do a fish pond. So what this does, it production bonus per worker. So 0.10 extra per worker. So not a ton, but it does allow you to build a little bit higher there. A little bit taller, I guess I should say. And it demonstrates something I think is very cool about this game. You get hanging off buildings. So literally a lot of your higher tier buildings are going to be different kinds of, well, we can just look at them. Mines and quarries. I guess they're all calling them mines in this case. Never mind. Oh, an extractor. There we go. And they're going to hang off the edge. So again, aesthetically really cool. I like some of the ideas there where they're thinking outside of the box with settlement placement and whatnot. And it looks really cool. I just noticed there's a moon back there. That is cool. Jeez. Yeah, so definitely a pretty game to play, a fun game to play. And I'm going to try to hold off on my Northgard comparisons, but kind of like Northgard, it's a fun one to play. You're not feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm getting overwhelmed by enemy soldiers and stuff. Like, I'm sure if you crank the difficulty up, I played it normal, like I said, I was getting my trash handed to me quite a bit, being new and all, but it is something that you can kind of just play a little bit more relaxed, watch those bridges bend a little bit. I mean, it definitely is a nice looking game, which I appreciate. I have a hard time going back and playing those old 4X games, for example. A little bit of a graphic snub, I suppose. But there we are. We're going to leave it there. 22 minutes, I think, is a good stopping point. So hit me up in the comments below. I'm going to try to get these pretty quick one after another for these videos, but I might wait a day for my next Let's Play just to give you a chance to comment if you see this and you want me to show something off. Because again, 3-4 episodes is probably all we're going to be doing here. So thank you for watching, and as always, it's great doing these, so appreciate you watching them, and we'll catch you next time. Until then, thanks.